Hey, this is Jay with ProGrade, and today we're going to do some pre-grades. I got 10 different cards that I'm going to do pre-grades for, and what I'll do is a full mock-up of what the graders will see and walk through the different nuances of what comes along with a pre-grade, and then give the cards a prediction of what they might come back at. That way my client can make an educated decision. So let's go ahead and get our lamp into place, see if it will work where you can see it as well. All right, so we're going to start off with an Ellie Della Cruz out of Tops. And what we're going to be looking for is we're going to gauge the corners, the edging, the surface, as well as we're going to cover the centering. So let's see what we can see through the lamp. So our corners, we have a little bit of whiting, very light, nothing too egregious. We have a little bit of an edge concern up top. So we're going to put a little on the corner and then a little heavier on the top, especially right here. It looks like it's pulling up a little bit. All right, our upper right corner looks clean. The rest of the edging looks pretty clean. Okay, so let's take a quick moment and see. Cards are supposed to be 3 centimeters in standard. All right, so let's see what we got. We have a 3. We have a 3. A 3 and a 3. So we're perfectly centered. Okay, I didn't see anything on the surface during first inspection. Yes, we have a little bit of gold chip right here. That seems abnormal. The rest seems pretty clean. A lot of like pinpoints on there, but that's how the printing is. Okay, so with the Cruz Tops, our surface has a little bit of concerns, nothing too crazy. Corners had a little bit, nothing too crazy or egregious. Our edging has a little bit bigger of a concern, so I'm going to bring that down to a 9. And then our centering was perfect, so there's our 10. So I'm going to put a 9 for the front. Now let's take a look at the back. And the back looks pretty clean. Yeah, I can't see anything of overt note on the back. So I'm going to go 10, 10, 10, and 10 on the back. But based on this edge concern, I think it might go an 8, 9. So I'm going to say an 8, 9, and I'm going to point towards this edge right here as being the biggest concern. That will show. All right, so that is our first card. And we're going to move on. The next one we have the Bowman Chrome U. So we're going to get some color out of this one. All right, so there's our card. Let's see what we got. So let's start up at the corner, working our way down. Didn't see any overt issues. Nothing was pushed in, nothing was dented. Nothing looked damaged. Okay, corners look pretty good. Edging looks pretty good. So we're going to give those 10s. Okay, so surface. Surface now has some issues that are pretty common as of late with printing. The card will actually lose, what's the best way of doing this? Will lose some of the image. And so right there you see it's loss of the actual color. So I'm going to mark that pretty heavily. I don't like that. If they choose to not go hard on that, that's on them. But I've seen some cards where they've automatically come back as 8s based on that grid issue. It's very unfortunate and unnecessary. All right, so centering, looks like we have a 4. We have a 4 on top. We have a 3 on the side. And we have a 3 on the bottom. So a little off-center on the top, but I'm going to still give it an 8 based on the loss of color along the top. All right, so back. Back has a little bit of corner concerns on the top left. A little bit on the bottom right, nothing too extreme. I'm only going to go down to a 9.5 on them. But there is a decent mark on the surface. Right here, there's a little bit of a scratch slash like what looks like a deep recess. Deep recess. All right, so we're going to give that an 8 there. Corners, going to give that 9.5, 9.5 on edges. And centering, we're clean on the back. And so we're going to go there, 8. So I'm going to go with a 6.7 based on the loss of color on the front surface where the printer line issue came in, and then a decent mark on the back that would take it down. So that's going to be my guess. A lot of cards have their issues on the back, so making sure that you always turn it around and give a good inspection of the back is very important. You may look at the front of a card and think that card looks perfect, that's a gem 10, but then you turn it around and you can find some serious damage on the back of the cards. All right, so we have a Shipley Mosaic. All right, so let's see. With this one, we're also going to examine the auto to see if it is worth having graded as well. So we're going to start off working the edge and corner. Edges and corners look pretty clean. I can't see anything that's too egregious. So we'll give that a positive marks. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting that. All right, so on surface, not seeing anything that jumps out terribly. Got a little bit of a marking down in the corner. Okay. The auto looks pretty clean. With autos, you're looking for any sort of smearing or smudging or drying in the middle. So like when the pen ink dries, sometimes it can dry heavily on the outside and leave a white streak in the middle, and they can get you pretty heavily for that. So the front is pretty clean. And then so we have a 4 on top, we have a 3 on the side, we have, let's see, we have a 3 on the bottom, and then we have a 3 on the side. So not too bad. It's nothing to be overly concerned about. I just realized I made a mistake on the surface. We have a little bit of that on the bottom, so it's a 9.5. So at worst, I think the front is a 9.5. So let's see the back. All right, so the back has pretty clean corner and edging. Surface, though, has some printer lines that run along the top pretty heavily. Has a little bit of a mark here, and then we have a thicker printer line here. Printer lines are very hit or miss. They can be either downgraded based on how rough they are or how thick, or they can be completely bypassed depending on how common in some sets or how light or non-egregious. So these I consider to be egregious, so I'm going to go a 9 on the surface. Corners, we have a little bit and a little bit up here. Centering's pretty good. All right, so we're going to give that a 9. And so overall, I'm going to go an 8-9 based on the back surface, but the auto I think could get a 10. So this card, if you didn't want to risk getting a 9, you could just submit this kind of card for auto grade. All right, so our next one is a old school chrome LaDainian Tomlinson, which is pretty cool. This is something I would have collected. All right, so we have quite a bit on the card already just jumping out at me. We have a lot of surface happening. These types of cards typically do. It's a very sensitive front, the acetate tone. They hold a lot of damage. It looks like a fingerprint smudge there. All right, so we got a 3, we have a 3, we have a 3, and we have a 3. So we're perfectly centered. We got pretty rough front, so I'm going to give it an 8 on the front. Corners are not too bad, slight little bit, so I'm going to go 9.5s on those. Overall, though, I'm going to say an 8 on the front based on a lot of the surface scratches that are coming across. All right, and then on the back, we definitely have some edging issues and corner issues. So we're gonna knock it down pretty hard on that. We've got some surface issues. So surface is gonna get a 9, corners is gonna get a 9, edging's gonna get an 8.5, and centering's gonna get a 10. So I'm gonna bring this down to an 8, and overall, I'll probably go with a 5, 6. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take down 2 from the front and take down 2 from the back. So subtract 4, and that's a 6. All right, we have another LT. Gorgeous refractors. That rainbow, beautiful. All right, so again, we are sitting with a whole awful lot, probably worse than the last one for surface issues. All right. We are centered. 3's around, so let's go 8. Corners. Actually, I'm going to drop that down to a 7.5 this time. Corners are going to be 9.5, 9.5. All right, so we're going to go 7.5. And then on back, we have some edging issues. We have some scratches. Have some corner damage. All right, so I'm going to drop the surface down to an 8. Corners probably down to an 8, edging down to an 8, and centering I'm going to put at a 9.5. Centering is a 70-30, so you can be a lot more lenient on the back with centering, whereas front can be 60-40. So with this, it's pretty low. I'm going to go a 4.5 on this one. And we have a Xavier Worthy in the mushroom cap. All right, so starting off, let's look at our corners and our edging. Got a little bit of edge on the side, a little bit of white showing. Got a little bit of white showing on the bottom. Got a little bit of extra paper hanging off the bottom right, and we've got white on the top. So starting off, we're not looking too good in terms of corners and edging. I'm gonna go 9 apiece. Centering, we have a 3, a 3, a 3, and a 3. So it's 3 centimeters around. There we go. And then we definitely have a little dimple, as well as some light scratches and some bigger dimples. So I'm going to say a 9 on the surface as well. Centering, we got a 10. Overall, I'm going to take the front down to an 8 based on there's surface and edging and corner issues. So there's enough to feel justified. We have a decent issue on the top right, which is interesting. It's like wavy pattern lines and scuff marks. So back is going to get hit pretty heavily here. All right, so we're going to go with an 8. Corners, we're going to go with an 8. Edging, we're going to go with an 8. Big right there. Then 9, 5, 8. So I'm going to drop this one down to a 5, 6 based on the front and the back. So that's worthy. Prism. Okay. All right, next one we up. Malik Washington out of Prism. All right, so our corners and edging looks pretty good. Can't see anything egregious sticking out. Our surface looks, it did until it's got some scratch marks across the body and then alongside the body. All right, so then we got a 4 on the side. We got a 3 on top. Okay. Looks like a 2 on the side. Let's take a look, which would make sense if the 4 is it. Oh, keep doing that. All right, so we have 2.5 and a 3 on the bottom. So we're off-centered on the front. Edging has nothing of overt concern. Front has some issues though, or the center or surface. So I'm going to put it at an 8.5 on the front. All right, so looking at the back, we have a line that runs down. I just realized I put the issues from the front on the back. My bad. Let's clean this up. Okay. But we still have some surface issues on. All right, so a 9. Corners and edging are clean, and centering is clean. So we got 9. I want to say a 7, 8 based on the surface issues on the front and the surface issues on the back. Okay. All right, so next up we have a Brian Thomas Jr., also out of Prism, also the gold or the orange ice. All right, so starting off, we're going to be looking at the corners, and we're going to see a little bit of light white on the bottom left. Okay, all of the rest looks pretty good, so nothing too extreme. Okay, we're a 3 on the bottom, we're a 4 on the side, we're a 3 on top, and we're a 3 on the side, so nothing too extreme centering wise, so we're good there. Surface does have some issues. Okay, so we're going to go 9 on the front, and then back. We have some edging concerns on the bottom. We have some abrasion marks on the surface. We have some milkiness. What is happening up here with you? Okay, we got some edge issues on top. All right, so we're going to go 9 on surface, 9 on corners, 9 on edges, and we're going to go a 9.5 on centering. So overall a 9. I'm going to take down 1 full point for the front, 1 full point for the back, and I'm going to give this a potential 7-8 based on the surfaces. Our next one up, we have an Evan Carter. This one is out of Bowman Chrome as a ray wave. Okay, so let's see what we got. Carter, Chrome. All right, so we're gonna start with our corners and see if we can see any sort of whiting and or damage. We're going to run our finger down along the side, see if we can see any sort of damage or whiting. Nothing extreme. We do have a little bit of extra paper sticking out. So that's going to be corner and edge. We've got a little bit of edge concerns on the right side where we can see lack of color. The rest looks pretty good, so we're going to go a 9 on the edge. We're going to go 9.5 on the corner because it's not damage per se, it's just extra paper sticking out. And then our centering is a 3 on top, a 3 on the side, a 3 on the bottom, and a 3 on the right. And this one's a clear border, so it's pretty easy to know where you'll be getting your borders from. When it's not so clear, kind of in a situation where here you can see the border is alongside. Or sometimes you just have to create your own border. All right. So we have some light issues on the surface. We got what looks like a little bit of smudging. So we're going to go 9 on the surface, and then centering we said was clean. So overall, we're going to say a 9 on the front. And the back has some surface issues. Otherwise, corner and edges look okay. It looks like there might be a little bit of crimping. Very light bit, if anything. A little bit of surface. So I'm going to say a 9 on the surface. I'm going to go 9.5 on the surface. 9.5 on the corners and edging. And then looks pretty clean. We're going to go 9.5 here. I'm actually going to drop the corners down to a 9. All right, and then put a 9. So overall, I think even though it's a 9.9 on front, nothing is so egregious. I think they're going to give this a 9 because there are issues on here, but I don't think they're going to go so hard on those issues that it drops it lower than that 9. All right, and then our final card is an Ellie Dela Cruz. Out of Topps, and this is going to be a rough one in general because black is very unforgiving. So let's see how this one holds up. So for sure we've got white on the corner. Okay. Rest of our edges and corners look okay. So we're going to go 9.5 for corners and edge on the front. We got the same pop marks that we had in the first one. So we're not going to go hard on those. So surface is pretty good on front. Centering, we've got the 3, 3, 3, and 3. So we got a 10. So we're got 9.5 for the front. And then back. Back we're pretty clean, minus some surface issues. So I'm going to go a 9 and then a 10 on all of the rest, but part of me wonders, there's some surface. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like pen marks or something very light. But I think that's where they're going to get them. So I'm going to give that an 8, 9. And there you go. And so when ProGrade does pre-grades and they submit, we found that our high number comes back 62% of the time, and our low number matches 22% of the time. So 84% of the time, our numbers match. When it doesn't match, it's the 13% of the time that the grading companies go higher than what we would have gone based on what we saw on the card. So if you ever need any help in the future, if you'd like some pre-grades done or like some consultation, some peace of mind before you submit for grading, let us know at www.ProGradeCardServices.com or at Gmail and email me to set up an appointment. Take care.